Hello and welcome to everyone watching the Written in Melanin channel. Wherever this day may have found you, I am so glad that you are here. So this is the first book review of many I hope to have the pleasure of doing. This series, like everything related to the Written in Melanin channel and the Written in Melanin brand, is designed to make you guys aware of some amazing books written by Black authors that you may or may not already know about. The books in this series are in no particular order, but they are books that I've read for either my book club, by request, or just for myself. So, to be clear, these are my honest opinions. Some of these reviews may have spoilers, but I'll be sure to warn you guys before that happens so that you can skip over those parts if you want. If you haven't already, be sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss any new book reviews that happen on the channel. Alright, so let's get into this. The first book in this series is one that is near and dear to my heart. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that this was my favorite book of 2019. And it is called We Are Immeasurable, and it's written by McGrew. I love this book for so many reasons, but one of the main ones is this book reminded me of why I love the young adult genre, just like in general, and why I fell in love with reading in the first place. There was a time in my life where I just sort of felt like I'd aged out of the YA genre as a whole and that I should just move on to reading more adult literature. But I quickly realized that there weren't many books that catered to the 20-something age group. And it's one of the many reasons that I decided to write my book, Keeping Promises, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about McGrew's creation. So, to let you guys know what it's about, here is the blurb from the back of the book. In We Are Immeasurable, 18-year-old Maisie, who is blind, discovers the unpredictability of life, both tragic lows and unexpected highs. Her story is one of strength, love, loss, and learning to truly exist in life's fullness despite hardships. When a chance friendship with a classmate blossoms from constant arguments to finding shared interests, laughter, and adventure, Maisie finds that even though pain and heartache are embedded in the tapestry of life, so are moments of inner peace and profound love. Hey everyone! So we're going to take a quick little break here to let you know that if you're a writer and you're looking for an editor, then we can help you out. We're a publishing company that offers editing services to help authors of all types get to their most polished works. If you're interested, head over to writteninmelanin.com to check out our full list of services and pricing. By the way, we're super affordable and provide sample edits upon request, so don't be shy about reaching out to us. Okay, that's it. Back to the video. So, in layman's terms, this book is about Maisie, a blind girl learning to not just exist in her life, but to actually live. And I feel like that's a really good message to put out because a lot of us can fall into that cycle of just existing and not actually making the most of our life. For Maisie specifically, because she is blind, she's very focused on herself, but in such a way that she wants to make sure that she's as little a burden on other people's lives as possible. And in doing that, she has shut out a lot of experiences that normal teenagers would have. But in an effort to prepare herself for the real world, she transfers from her high school for the blind to a public high school for her senior year. Now, this is a major decision, especially for anyone who has actually attended a public high school. It is not a breeding ground for safe and secure experiences, and it's not particularly fun. But, this is a decision that Maisie makes, and she makes it despite her sister's warnings, despite the struggles, because the thing about Maisie is that she is very practical about her disability, and she understands that she has to fight this uphill battle. And so her biggest thing is that she wants to be prepared for life. And she is in a place where she's like, she doesn't feel like she's getting that from her current high school. And she doesn't essentially want to be pimp slapped by life once she graduates. And she's not in this like safe, secure space catered to blind people. So she's just like takes the plunge and she's like, I'm going to go to a public high school and I'm going to get this life experience that is supposed to be given to people in regular high school, and I'm going to be regular and let's do this. So she transfers in, and this is where the story takes off. Enter Barnaby Parks. He is taken with Maisie from the very beginning. He is irritating, but Maisie falls for him anyway, and most of the book is about them learning to navigate falling in love for the first time, about them learning to open up to each other and leave their comfort zones, of them sharpening each other and just growing as people. They have a beautiful love story, and I honestly could spend this entire video talking to you guys about how much I loved how well developed Maisie and Barnaby were. But I wrote a full review of this book on the Written in Melanin website, and I gush over them there. So please check that out when you get a chance. In this video, I wanted to give some love to Maisie's older sister, Maya. So Maya is 13 years older than the main character, Maisie, and she is also her legal guardian. After an accident takes their parents away from them, Maya steps in to take care of Maisie. And I love her character because she walks the line of mother and friend and sister very well. It's a narrow line because she's responsible for Maisie, but also she has to remain confident in her support system and just her friend. And it's not an easy thing to do, but Maya navigates it with ease and with an expertise where it shows in her character that she really truly cares about Maisie. I especially love Maya as it relates to Barnaby. When they interact, her reactions aren't anything questionable or inappropriate like flirting with him or anything, but she reacts to him in a way that I would expect Maisie to react if she could have seen him. She notices the subtle things that Maisie can't pick up on, and she treats him like he's important. So like she can see the way Barnaby looks at Maisie and the way he gives his full attention to her and the expressions that he has on his face. And I feel like it's such an important thing to mention because in YA, it's not uncommon to see siblings or parents as just passing characters that serve to only get in the way or basically annoy the main character. They don't really serve a greater purpose than to just demonstrate that the person has a family. And Maya does not fall into that category. She is integral to the story and she's integral to Maisie's life, and she never, not once, just feels like a passing character or someone who's there to antagonize Maisie or to tease her or anything like that. Maya is Maisie's voice of reason. She is her guide both physically and emotionally, and her role in Maisie's life is so much more than just one thing. Her place in this book is extremely significant, and I love that. There are no wasted characters in this book. There are no wasted moments, and every moment of reading the book feels important. You don't have any scenes or any moments where you just want to gloss over it and get to the good parts, essentially. So kudos to McGrew because she did an amazing job with that part. But back to why Maya is so amazing, one of the biggest things that I appreciated about her and her character is that Maya gave Maisie freedom. And the reason I say that I appreciate that is because Maisie is blind, okay? And I keep repeating that because that is very important to remember about her character, because as you're reading, you realize that Maisie is not her disability. She is a teenage girl first. And I appreciate that because Maya treated her as a teenager before she treated her like a blind girl. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people wouldn't have been able to accomplish. I think it's also important to note that if Maya was Maisie's mom, there were a lot of things in this book that wouldn't have been realistic. But because she was her sister, it gave depth to her character as a whole and demonstrated their dynamic. And like I said, what Maya does in the book is not an easy thing to do. The best thing I think B.L. McGrew did, though, was to give Maya weak points. There are moments where Maya relies on Maisie because that's her sister and they've been through a lot of traumatic events together. And yes, she's the older one. Yes, she's her guardian. Yes, she's the strong one. But at the end of the day, that's still her best friend, her sister, her confidant. So just as much as she is that for Maisie, Maisie is that for her. And it is a reminder that she's not just some random person or some random thrown in character who was ill thought out, who's just there to give Maisie somewhere to stay. They're legitimate friends, and they're close, and they love each other, and they rely on each other, and they face everything together. And it would have been so easy to leave that part out of the story, and I am incredibly grateful that it was included. So the highlights of this book for me were, 1, the characters. They are all very well thought out. They're all intentional. They all have great flaws as well as positive traits. So they feel very real. They're very relatable. And you never feel like, okay, why was this person even mentioned in the first place? The pacing of the plot, it doesn't move too fast, but it also doesn't move too slow where it feels like a slugfest. It has honestly what I would call the perfect pacing. Like, it gives you enough ups and downs to get you attached to the book, if that makes sense. I love the emotional scenes. Like I said, this book is about Maisie and Barnaby falling in love with each other, and they do it in such a natural teenagery way where it's just like, it's slow, then it's quick, and then it's too much, and then it's terrifying, and then all of a sudden it's not enough. And this could be a really minimal thing, but something I've noticed in YA books, and I can't speak for all of them obviously, but the ones that I've read, they tend to shy away from the physical aspects of a relationship between teenagers, probably because, you know, they're teenagers. But like, let's be real here. When you're 17, 18 and you have a boyfriend, like, it's a very physical relationship. You know, for most people, yes, there are some people out there who are like, oh, we don't hold hands or we barely kiss. But, you know, this book isn't that. And it's not explicit and it's not erotic or anything like that. It's just very real. Like, Maisie and Barnaby can't keep their hands off of each other. They like to make out with each other, and that's written into the book. And I feel like that was a nice touch because, like I said, they're teenagers, and that's how teenagers act when they're in relationships, and especially when they're in love with the other person and it's not just a passing fling. That, but also not just like the physical parts, but the emotional parts and the things that they do for each other and the way that they talk with each other and the way that they're there for each other and show up for each other. It's amazing. And just like, go read it because I love it. And that sort of ties into my last point of why I just really, really loved everything about this book, is just the honesty of it all. It's very real. It's not something that is far-fetched or where you read it and you're just like, yeah, that wouldn't happen in real life, or you're just like dismissive of it. It's true, it's honest. This could be the story of any blind girl or anybody falling in love for the first time. If you sort of disregard the fact that Maisie is blind, this could be a very genuine love story of something that happens to somebody in real life. And I absolutely adore stories like that, where it's very rooted in reality and what could actually happen and the feelings and the emotions and the scenarios and the way that people react in unfamiliar scenarios, because they're not perfect. You know, sometimes they don't say the right things, but it's true and it's honest to how teenagers act and react, and it's lovely. It's beautiful. It's amazing. A lot of times, YA romance can feel forced because when you pick up the book, you know what you're getting into. Yes, this book is that, and yes, the main characters fall in love, but they do it in a way that's beautiful and touching and cute and heart-wrenching, and it just gives you all the feels. On the opposite side of that coin, I have to tell you guys about the things that I didn't love so much. For one, I wanted more of Maya and her life. Like I said, she's an amazing character, but this book, I don't want to misconstrue it. It is about Maisie and Barnaby. And in the scheme of things, Maya is a side character. I just wish that I got more about Maya. Also, this book is told through Maisie's perspective, and Maisie is blind. So when you pick up this book, you shouldn't expect a lot of physical descriptions of what things look like unless someone is describing a scene to Maisie. And that's important. I like that touch because it's authentic to the first person point of view that the book is told through. However, it's one of those things where sometimes it can be kind of hard to ground yourself in the scenario. But then again, that's kind of what Maisie also experiences. So it's a double double-edged sword. Also, I wanted to know more about Barnaby's backstory. So Barnaby is the main character, the love interest, and we actually do know a lot about him, but we know the bits about him that he tells Maisie. And again, that's because the story is told in first person. So whatever Maisie doesn't know, we as the reader don't know. So I just kind of wish that we got more insight into Barnaby before he met Maisie. And the last thing that I didn't love so much about the book is the ending made me cry. And I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. Just know that I love this book to pieces and that you need to have a box of tissues ready. So to recap everything, this book is called We Are Immeasurable by B.L. McGrew. She has another book out called Her Butterfly Diary, and both books are available on her website, blmcgrew.com, and on Amazon. You can follow her on Twitter at writerblmcgrew and on Instagram at writer_b.l. I'll leave links to everything below, along with where you can purchase my book, Keeping Promises, and follow me, C.E. Benson, and my company, Written in Melanin Publishing, on social media. All right, that's it. If you enjoyed this video, please tap the like button and subscribe to the channel. I post new videos every other Friday, and thank you guys for watching. Until next time, I hope your days are lovely and your books are interesting. Bye!